If you know exactly what you want in life, this is not for you. But if you don't know what you want, you feel like you lack clarity and find yourself held back by uncertainty, then keep watching. You wake, but you are not awake, not fully. There's a hum beneath your skin, a faint ache behind your eyes, the weight of something missing. You move through your day like a shadow tracing itself. You do what needs doing, say what needs saying, and yet somewhere a quiet voice asks, why? Not as accusation, not as challenge, but as invitation. Why do you wake each morning? Why do you walk the path you're on? And where is it taking you? This is not the kind of question you answer quickly or loudly. It is a question made of silence, of stillness, of slow, unfolding truth. Most people never truly ask it, not deeply, not honestly. They fear what they might find, or worse, what they might not. We've been told our purpose will appear like a lightning strike, a sign, a calling. But days pass, years, nothing strikes, and so we wonder, was there nothing meant for me? This is where the drift begins, the slow, almost invisible departure from meaning, from direction, from self. And so we try to fill the space. We chase titles, possessions, applause, 1,000 voices trying to tell us who we are. But none of them whisper what the soul longs to hear. This is your why. So we keep moving, fast, loud, busy, because stillness is terrifying when you don't know what fills it. But stillness is where truth lives. So today, be still, let the noise fall away, let the old story burn. Because what if purpose is not found? What if it is built? Piece by piece, step by silent step, not with a map, but with a chisel, not with answers, but with presence, not with certainty, but with attention. You're not lost, you're just waiting to begin building, and the only thing you need to begin is to listen. They said purpose was something you find, like a hidden gem buried in the soil of fate, like a sacred scroll awaiting your discovery in a far-off monastery or a midlife epiphany, a revelation, a moment, a bolt of clarity. They told you you would know it when it arrived, like love at first sight, like destiny with your name etched in gold. But that's a myth, a beautiful one, but a myth. Purpose doesn't leap from the clouds and declare itself. It doesn't break down your door and say, here I am. And yet, we wait, we scroll, we hope. We treat purpose like a package delayed in the mail, as if life owes us a why for simply asking the question. This is the modern disease, confusing clarity with certainty, mistaking lightning for light. We see the curated lives, the entrepreneurs, the artists, the change makers. We assume they found it, that some cosmic hand lifted them from doubt and dropped them gently into meaning. But when you ask them, really ask, you'll find something else. They didn't find purpose, they built it. They stumbled, they tried, they failed, and tried again. They began in uncertainty. They walked in confusion, and slowly, through motion, they shaped something real. That's the great irony. In waiting to find our purpose, we delay the very process that creates it. Because purpose isn't a place you arrive, it's a way you move. The idea that there's only one purpose, a singular mission you're born to fulfill, is not just wrong, it's dangerous. It makes you freeze, second guess, choke on choices. It tells you, if you don't know, don't move. But the truth is, you cannot know until you do. Meaning is not found in a moment. It's woven over time through attention, through service, through the friction of daily acts. You don't stumble into purpose, you carve it. And the chisel is your action. Even now, purpose is asking, not what are you meant to do, but what will you begin to build? Think of a sculptor, not in a studio, but in a storm. Hands frozen, tools dull, no clear block of marble, just fragments, dust, and uncertainty. That is how purpose begins, not with vision, but with willingness. The willingness to shape without knowing the final form, to touch life with intention before certainty arrives. You don't find your purpose, you build it. This truth is quiet, but fierce, and once it settles into your bones, you'll never see the world the same, because you'll stop asking what the world owes you and start asking what you're ready to give. Purpose is built the way fire is built, not with a spark, but with friction. Friction of effort, of small unseen work, of trying when it feels hollow, of showing up when no one is watching. That's what they don't tell you. That a nurse's purpose isn't found in a mission statement. It's built in every midnight shift, every quiet comfort offered to a trembling hand. That a bus driver's meaning isn't some divine directive. It's carved in the care they take each morning as children climb the steps. That a cashier's value isn't written in title or wage. It's found in the kindness they bring to a stranger's hard day. Purpose isn't loud or glamorous or given. It is earned through presence. And that means it is available to anyone willing to build. Even if you feel lost, even if you feel behind, especially then. Because what if being lost is the first step to building your own direction? What if not knowing is the invitation? And what if your life is the raw material from which something unrepeatable can be shaped? Purpose isn't something you wait for. It's something you begin right now, in the next word, the next action, the next gentle push against the silence. You're not searching, you're sculpting. So then, if purpose is not found but built, what do you build it from? Not dreams, not blueprints, not even passion. You build it from you, from who you are when no one is watching, from how you think, how you move, what you choose again and again when it would be easier not to. This is the forgotten truth. Purpose does not arise from what you want. It grows from who you decide to become. You don't find purpose. You become it. Slowly, daily, deliberately. Identity is not fixed. It's forged. And as you forge identity, you forge purpose. This is the identity equation. You become what you consistently do. And what you consistently do becomes who you are. And who you are shapes the world around you. That's not metaphor, it's law. Edwin C. Barnes didn't wait to find his purpose, he declared it. He said, I will go into business with Edison. Not I'll apply. Not I'll try my luck. Not I'll find out who I'm supposed to be. He decided who he would be and then acted accordingly until reality caught up. It didn't happen overnight. He swept floors, he waited years, but he never broke character, and eventually his character became his destiny. This is the pattern. It's not about talent or luck or even clarity, it's about direction. It's about who you decide to be and the habits that person would have. Do you want to build purpose? Then become the kind of person who lives with intention even in the small things. Because small things shape the whole. The way you speak, the way you think, the way you hold yourself in silence. Each choice is a brick, and one day you look up and realize you built something sacred. Not just a life, but a legacy. Not just movement, but meaning. You become the person who no longer needs to find purpose because you're living it. But even once built, purpose is not stone. It does not hold still, because neither do you. The idea that purpose is one fixed thing is a comforting illusion. It tells us once we find it, we're done, set for life, locked in, secure. But life is motion, and motion reshapes everything. Who you are at 20 is not who you'll be at 40, nor should it be. And what matters to you now may not matter in 10 years, nor must it. Purpose evolves as you evolve. It should. And yet, so many suffer because they believe their purpose must remain the same. They treat change as failure. They think, if I outgrow this dream, did I waste it? No, you lived it. And now something new is asking to be born. This is not abandonment. It is evolution. Think of the person who changes careers at 40. Think of the mother who rediscovers her voice after raising her children. Think of the artist who puts down the brush to teach others how to see. Were they wrong before, or are they simply alive? Too many feel shame for outgrowing an old chapter, but growth is not betrayal. It is the body's way of whispering, there's more. More to learn, more to love, more to give. Purpose is not a single destination. It is a series of unfolding questions, and each season of life may answer them differently. Let it. Let yourself evolve without guilt. The oak does not apologize for no longer being an acorn, neither should you. Because in truth, you were never meant to stay the same. You were meant to grow. So if purpose evolves, how do you live with fluid direction? How do you find stability in a world that never stops shifting? The answer is not force, it's alignment. The Japanese call it ikigai, a reason to wake up, a reason to continue. Not grand, not dramatic, sometimes as simple as joy in making tea, as sacred as holding a child, as quiet as feeding birds in the morning. Ikigai is not discovered. It is noticed, nurtured, felt. It lives where four rivers meet: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. When those rivers merge, life flows. But this is not a formula, it's a mirror. You don't chase ikigai. You uncover it by paying attention to where your joy meets your effort, to where your skill meets someone else's need, to where time disappears and fulfillment appears in its place. Jiro Ono, the sushi master, a man whose entire life was a single, unending pursuit of refinement, not for fame, not for fortune, but because his work became prayer. Each piece of sushi a meditation, each customer a sacred guest. That is ikigai. It doesn't require an audience, only devotion. Jane Goodall found it in the jungle, eyes meeting eyes across the species line. Her joy in observation became humanity's gateway to understanding itself. Dave Restovich found it in the waves, surfing alongside dolphins and defending them as kin. He did not invent his purpose, he honored it. Ikigai is not about arrival, it is about resonance. When your life resonates with your values, you feel it. It hums beneath your actions, it softens your mornings, it strengthens your nights. And when you live in that hum, you stop asking what your purpose is, because you are busy living it. There is a secret. It hides in plain sight, whispered in sacred texts, etched in every fulfilled life. Purpose does not flourish in isolation. It does not grow in the chambers of self. It is not born by asking, "What do I want?" but rather, "What can I give?" There is no purpose without people, no meaning without movement toward others. And this is the hinge on which fulfillment turns. You've felt it, haven't you? That strange broom of wholeness when someone else is lifted by something you did, said, created. Not for applause, but for impact. Not for glory, but for good. You become a mirror, a doorway, a catalyst. As Dr. Caroline Leaf once said, your purpose is not the thing you do, it is the thing that happens in others when you do what you do. Let that settle in you, because that one shift from performance to transformation changes everything. It reveals why success alone feels hollow, why talent without contribution leaves us aching. It reveals why 80% of high achievers still feel something is missing, because without service, purpose has no breath. On a summer evening, beneath ivy-covered walls, old classmates gathered. They had titles, homes, families, achievements, but still so many felt lost, except for the few, the joyful few, and they all had one thing in common. They knew who they served, what those people needed, and how their work changed someone else's life. Not, what am I doing, but what happens to others because I'm here. That's the heartbeat. That's the center. And when you ask that, you begin to see yourself clearly. You stop drifting. You stop searching. Because suddenly, you are needed. And when you are needed, you are anchored. So if you feel lost, help someone. If you feel invisible, make someone else feel seen. Because every time you give without needing, you build without knowing. And slowly you realize you weren't missing purpose. You were just waiting to aim it outward. Before purpose can move outward, you must quiet what pulls you inward. Noise, doubt, distraction. These are not just annoyances, they are thieves. They steal your attention, hijack your clarity, cloud your direction, and in a world built to keep you reactive, the greatest rebellion is inner stillness. Emotional sovereignty. The art of not being ruled by the storms around you. It doesn't mean apathy. It doesn't mean withdrawal. It means choosing your state before the world chooses it for you. Because how can you build purpose when your hands are always trembling? How can you hear the quiet voice of direction when your mind is filled with shouting? You must become unbothered, not indifferent, but sovereign. To act instead of react, to lead instead of follow fear, to be even when the world demands you perform. Imagine a tree in the wind. It does not chase the breeze. It does not question the storm. It holds, rooted, centered, alive. This is what it means to be still within, to let the storm pass without letting it in. Because purpose does not bloom in chaos. It needs space and silence and soil undisturbed by the panic of the moment. You must protect that soil. Refuse to water weeds. Refuse to let the shallow world pull you from your depth. Detach from what drains, not as escape, but as alignment. Because when you clear what does not belong, you make space for what does. And in that space, you hear it again. The whisper of why. The invitation to build. The quiet truth beneath the noise. You were not made to chase, to react, to flinch. You were made to create, to give, to become. But you must begin from the inside. Your inner stillness is the foundation on which your outward purpose is built. What if purpose wasn't rare? What if it wasn't reserved for the chosen, the famous, the exceptional? What if purpose was the default? Not a treasure to hunt, but a birthright to activate. Imagine a world not driven by fear or survival, but by clarity of contribution, where children are not asked, "What do you want to be?" but "How do you want to help?" Where the systems we build aren't obsessed with productivity, but with meaning. What if every school taught Ikigai before algebra? What if identity was not squeezed into careers, but expanded through impact? Picture it. A society where joy was a compass, where talents were noticed not as grades, but as sacred indicators of one's role in the human mosaic. What if we built cities not around commerce, but around calling? Neighborhoods where elders guide the young toward purpose, where artists mentor creators in waiting, where loneliness dissolves because every person knows someone is waiting for what I bring. Imagine workplaces re-engineered not for output but for alignment, where teams are formed by complementary purpose, not just skill, where the question isn't how fast can we scale, but how deeply can we serve? What if resumes vanished and were replaced by purpose portfolios? Not what you've done, but who you've changed. Not your title, but your transformation. And what if at the end of life the measure wasn't wealth or status, but how many lives were touched by your doing? How many hearts shifted because you chose to act? Because, as Dr. Carolyn Leaf reminds us, your purpose is not the thing you do. It is the thing that happens in others when you do what you do. What if society finally aligned with this? A civilization of givers, of builders, of people not chasing success, but designing significance. It is not fantasy. It is architecture. We can build this world, but first, we must build it within ourselves, because the outer world is nothing more than the echo of our inner one. So now we return to the beginning, to the silence, to the ache, to the quiet voice that still whispers beneath the noise. Why? But now you don't fear the question, you welcome it. You know it was never meant to be answered quickly, or loudly, or once. It was meant to be lived. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not lost. You are simply at the edge of becoming. You have seen the myth of waiting, the illusion of the singular call. You have seen that purpose is not found, it is built, that it evolves, that it expands, that it begins within you but becomes real through others. You've seen that your worth is not in what you do, but in what shifts in others because you do it. You've seen the power of alignment, of stillness, of service. And now, you are ready, not for answers, but for building, brick by breath, step by silence. You don't need to wait for the storm to pass. You are the one who builds shelter. You don't need to ask permission. You are already qualified by your willingness. You don't need a map. The path appears as you walk it. Purpose is not a door you open. It is a home you build with your hands, your heart, your life. And the first brick is this moment right here, the decision to no longer drift, to begin, to serve, to shape, to become. Not perfectly, not all at once, but wholly, quietly, boldly. because somewhere someone is waiting for what only you can give. So go and build.